Saturday morning pictures for children was a regular staple of UK cinemas throughout the mid-20th century. Each chain had its own matinee club, which youngsters in their thousands flocked to every weekend. The first such occasion at the New Victoria in Bradford was introduced by General Manager Gilbert Ridler in February 1937. Initially launched by Gaumont British as a circuit-wide experiment, the concept was praised by the Telegraph and Argus, the local newspaper. They said, "Pleasantly blended programmes have been arranged by Mr. Ridler, who has taken up the scheme with all the enthusiasm of a godfather. There will be a feature film, an educational nature film, topical sound news, an all-colour comedy cartoon, and each week an instalment of a thrilling but wholesome serial." The cliffhanger endings of the serial were purposely designed to entice members back the following Saturday. This was also the period Mr. Ridler officially became known to local children as Uncle Phil. His main intention was to instil basic foundations for the youth of Bradford to aspire to in order to become good citizens. He also planned to deliver short lectures on practical topics such as road safety from the stage. The Kiddies Club at the New Vic was quietly shelved in mid-1938, but it was relaunched in January 1945. One of its young members was Derek Lister. He remembers those days. "I had heard from existing members how great it was, with both boys and girls being entertained for 2 hours. Apart from the films, there were competitions, fancy dress or talent contests, and local artists who tried to entertain above the din, and all for the price of sixpence." One of the competitions held at the New Victoria was a yo-yo contest, which was partly filmed for a Gaumont British promotional clip. You can see local youngsters practicing in the stalls foyer and a line of finalists on the stage. The film ends with a somewhat pitiful attempt by Uncle Phil to master the yo-yo. The Gaumont British Club, or GB Club for short, also had its own anthem, which the members loudly sang every Saturday.
Right, let's go. We come along on Saturday morning, greeting everybody with a smile. We come along on Saturday morning, knowing it's well worthwhile. As members of the GB Club, we all intend to be good citizens when we grow up and champions of the three. We come along on Saturday morning, greeting everybody with a smile, 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 greeting everybody with a smile.
Uncle Phil and his young pals were special guests at the launch of the Junior Club at the Gaumont in Saltaire in December 1945. When Bradford Northern defeated Leeds at Wembley in May 1947, part of the team's homecoming celebrations was a Friday night appearance at the New Victoria with the Silver Challenge Cup. The trophy was also shown to members of the Kiddies Club the following morning. Fashions and interests continually changed for youngsters, and as the 1940s gave way to the 1950s and 60s, the theatre, now known as the Gaumont, moved with the times. In April 1960, John Philcox was its general manager, and that's when he introduced the Teenage Show. This new weekly session on Saturday mornings was to offer youngsters live music and a jive session as well as a film show. Bradford singers and musicians were asked to get in touch. One person that responded was Derek Lister, who had recently rechristened himself as Dal Stevens and was now the singer and leader of the Four Dukes. Here he is with Mr. Phil Cox and the rest of the group on the Gaumont stage. A parade of local talent entertained the youngsters every Saturday morning, and here's just a few of the names that did. They were also allowed to dance in the cinema aisles, or they could even come up onto the stage via temporary steps over the orchestra pit. The assistant manager of the Majestic Ballroom was the DJ of the jive session. In February 1962, General Manager Sidney Ramsay revamped the teenage show and introduced the 10 o'clock rock, with the added attraction of loads of prizes for lucky people. The traditional matinee film show format eventually returned on Saturday mornings at the Gaumont, and this continued right up until the morning of Saturday the 30th of November 1968, the day the cinema would close for its refurbishment into Odeon twin cinemas. Saturday morning film sessions did continue at the Odeon throughout the 1970s and 80s. However, the Kiddies Club concept was more or less replaced by film shows that were presented as competition prizes or preview ticket giveaways by the Telegraph and Argus. In the late 1990s, local youngsters enjoyed a film presentation for just £1 at the Odeon in its weekly movie mob show on Saturday mornings. But it seems that their grandparents may have had all the fun after all.